Okay, so I wanted to make this quick recording because of observations that I've made recently and things that I keep hearing that seem to be confirming it, and I'm like backing it up heavily enough to where I figure, I don't know, because I've been on the fence about like, is this real? Is it not? I'm the type of person that doesn't take chances. I'm a certified germaphobe. I don't touch anything when I'm out. Everything is hand sanitizer and napkins, plastic bags to get, for the gas pump. I don't know. Like I said, I watch people too much and I see where their fingers are. They're driving, they're licking, they're eating, they're digging, they're touching, they're just all and everything. I've seen people walk out of bathrooms and not wash their hands. They're disgusting, and everybody thinks it's okay because it's their own germs, but they're inconsiderate and don't think or realize that their particular form of bacteria and pathogens that they're carrying around with themselves that they have no problem with can be problematic to other people because it's a foreign body that is being introduced into their individual ecosystem. And, people are just inconsiderate. That's all there is to it. I watch them all the time, and that's why I'm a germaphobe, because people are disgusting. But anyway, I want to make this quick because, I don't know, I don't really like talking about stuff like this, but okay, I'm going to just sum it up. Regarding the coronavirus, I had 2 kittens that I adopted several years ago, and both of them, one of them was very, small, and the other one was a little bit older, but very afraid, skittish, super skittish. So, and then I had my cat Siler, who I still have. One of them was over-vaccinated. The woman that brought her vaccinated her, gave her her first shots, and then gave her boosters. That was supposed to be like a month later or something, and she gave it within a week. So she had an overload of vaccines. The other one was just very, very nervous, super stressed and scared of everything except for Siler. She liked him, but she was afraid of everything, sounds, movements, other people, you know what I mean? Everything. So the first one, the small one, Stitch, that was over-vaccinated, I noticed that she wasn't growing, she was getting her adult teeth while still having her baby teeth. So she had 2 sets of fangs. She had 4 on top and 4 on bottom. I noticed that she started having gastrointestinal issues when she would go to the litter. And then she started swelling up. Her belly started swelling and she was filling with fluid. I took her to the vet. She was diagnosed with FIP, and they said that it's caused by the coronavirus, which cats carry and spread through poop. And it spread. That's how it spread when they come from environments where the cats are infected with it, which spreads easily. The coronavirus is something that they get, and it spreads easily amongst cats, but it's shed in their poop, and they pass it, different strains of it, back and forth to each other. And the more they get, the more likely they are to develop FIP, which is something that mutates within them, but is not transferable from cat to cat. Only coronavirus is, but not FIP. FIP is a mutation that's unique to each cat, and it's 99.9% fatal. So she ended up getting what was called the wet form, and she had to be put to sleep. It was fucking sad. I hate even talking about it, and the only reason that I'm talking about it is because of what's going on now with this coronavirus and my suspicions about it. Okay, and then the second kitten, Slinky, I moved, and the move, I guess, was very stressful for her, and shortly after that, she started having neurological problems, and she couldn't, walk. She was, falling over and losing her balance. I took her to the vet. They tested her, and they said, basically what they look for is viral load of coronavirus, and they said that it had mutated into FIP, except it was the dry form, and it took on a neurological form. So she had neurological damage. She became fully paralyzed, and she couldn't do anything. She was just laying there. So she had to be put to sleep as well. And like I said, this was the fucking worst time ever. So anyway, Siler was with both of them. they were kittens, and Siler was about 5 years old, maybe 4, something like that. And so he never got it because the FIP isn't transferable from cat to cat. It's not communicable. It's something that mutates within them, and it's unique to each cat. So what I understand about, I did a lot of research because I was trying everything I could think of to save both of them, and nothing worked. I tried everything, oregano oil, vitamin C, like nothing worked. So during my research at this time, I found out that the coronavirus in cats, it's something that they swap back and forth. So the more cats there are, and I don't know where these kittens came from, what environment that they were in. I know that they were like the kind with the tipped ears. They were like rescue cats from feral colonies, stuff like that. And they might have been in large cat, environments. And they were, with multiple cats, like a lot of these places do. They have several cats in one area. So with them, like when they have the coronavirus, if there's like 3 or less cats, usually after like 3 or 4 months, eventually they stop the spread, as long as you keep the litter box clean and scoop it every time somebody goes in there to poop, so that when the other cats are in there, they're not stepping in the poop and licking the virus off their feet and getting more and more. It's a cumulative effect. So the more they have of the virus in them through means of having frequent contact with it, the more likely it is to mutate into a form that is fatal. Okay, so now I look at this pandemic, that's spreading all over the place. And I was noticing the way they were responding to it in China, but yet the numbers were so low considering how many people and how condensed it is there. It's like super packed, like it's very crowded. So then I was like, okay, it started supposedly through bats, people eating bats. And then I saw pictures of this bat soup, and they had basically a literal bat in a bowl of fucking sludge, it looked like. Just bat in a bowl of water. And I'm like, okay, if you put a dead bat and boil it in some water or whatever they did, that means everything inside the bat's still there, including the poop. So if someone was eating that, they're getting a lot of poop. And if bats, like cats, carry coronavirus, like a lot of animals do, like everything does, I suppose, and you're just literally eating shit soup, that would make sense that you would have a heavy load of it, which could cause a form of mutation. And I don't know if I necessarily, like, that seems like it could be the place that maybe people in the know would suspect, but I'm going to get to some other reasons why I think it's possible that it's not spreading, it's mutating, and it's like something that's reacting within people. And I think maybe that's why they want people to stay in one area, so that they can kind of determine if there's like a source of the spread or if it is mutating in people. Because if people stay where they are, but yet they're still getting it, maybe that means that there is an outside force that's causing it, sort of like with the kittens. One of them, I believe, had it because her system was overtaxed from the vaccines, and the other one was overtaxed by stress. Either way, it was stress in both cases. So then I start thinking, it's like all these things are coming back to my memory, like, because like I said, I'm a germaphobe. So I hear anything about anything gross and it doesn't leave my head. I'm like, ugh, I remember it. And I'm not the kind of person that goes, oh, I forgot to wash my hands. I'm like, nope, I'll accidentally wash them twice just to be sure. So then I recall stories of like hearing about men having feces in their beards, and people might go, oh, that was debunked. It's like, yeah, you can say it was debunked, but if you watch people, you'll know that there's nothing to debunk about the likelihood of someone having poop on their hands and then having it in their beard, since guys sit around and play with their beards. And then we have this whole beard trend. Like I said, don't get me wrong, I like facial hair on a guy. I don't like big, long beards, where everybody, all these guys that look the same with their beards and their man buns and all that stupid shit. Not into that, but that was like a big thing, and people touch a lot of stuff. They found poop on like touch screens in McDonald's, and where people order their food and then they touch the screens, they get their food, they're eating their fries as soon as they walk out. Nobody thinks about, people don't pay attention. I was standing in Express, like a clothing store, like several months ago, and there was this guy literally like looked like he just got straight off the refugee boat from Africa. And he's standing there, and he was digging so deep in his nose. I couldn't even believe it. I was like, are you kidding? He's just standing there, just leaning against the wall right near the checkout, and everybody's just walking around. It was crowded. And he's standing there just digging just in his brain, and nobody even noticed. I was like, are you fucking serious? Like nobody even noticed. And he's just digging. And I was like, oh my God. He didn't care. Nobody else cared. I was like, wow. It was like being in a video game where it's just like Grand Theft Auto. It's just a bunch of fucking NPCs, and they have no sense of awareness whatsoever, just walking around. I mean, I see people like weirdos and nobody reacts. They just move a little bit over and then they go right back to like looking at their phone. I'm like, I'm crawling the walls to get out of that area. And they're just like, whatever. But anyway, when you think about it, it seems very likely that there's poop all over everything. And, you know, people think, I don't see poop. It's like, you don't have to. Like, these are like micro fucking nanoparticles that you can't even see. Like, just microscope type shit. So, I wonder, you know, they say that it's very, very rampant in nursing homes. And when you think about nursing homes, you think of people that are bedridden, they're pooping in diapers, somebody comes and changes their diapers, they wipe them off, but their butt's itching, they're scratching, they're touching. I mean, this is places where there's not a lot of hand washing going on amongst the older people. And then the fact that it is attacking older people more and affecting them more, and men with the beards, men are less likely to be, you know, like as clean. You know, they're shaking hands all the time. You know, they're touching shit. You know, they're always down in their pants. You know, when they poop, their stuff is hanging in the toilet, splashing. You know what I mean? So I think men are more likely to have contact with poop than anything. Old people are too. And it's kind of funny because if it is about the load, they say it doesn't affect children as much. And while children are pretty gross, you know, they're always booger digging and touching, but they haven't been around as long to have as much of a viral load of, you know, poop spread coronavirus in their systems because they're still young. And if this has a cumulative effect and it's mutating in people, it seems like the older they are, the more likely they are to have a lot of it in them. And it's happening in cities where it's very crowded and people would have frequent contact with, you know, poop. And then, you know, I start thinking, okay, but what would be the thing that's activating it? And you hear people talking about 5G. Maybe it's that. I don't know. But I know one thing. There's been a lot of talk about like a grand solar minimum. And there's been very little, from what I haven't looked into it recently, but the last I heard, there's been very little sun activity. Like the sun is pretty much like on super, like there's no sunspots. You know, I might be wrong, but the last I heard, my sister would talk about this all the time. And there's been there's a link between grand solar minimums and plague outbreaks. And, you know, like just pandemics and whatnot. And it's kind of funny because it's like, if that's the case, you know, and what do they say is the most effective like way to you know, cleansing is sunlight. Sunlight is the most effective way to get rid of viruses and all sorts of stuff. That's why in the summer it's not as bad. You know, and I know that the sun has a direct impact on viruses. It has a direct impact on everything. So if the sun is doing something different and people are filled with a viral load of coronavirus, like a large load, you know, then maybe it's mutating within people. I don't know. And then I heard just, you know, the other day that, well, it was actually a couple weeks ago, I heard an article about, you know, the gay community being, you know, really hurt by this because they're saying that, you know, it's being found the coronavirus is found in poop. And I was like, when I heard that, I was like, how interesting. That kind of also backed up my theory a little bit. And I was like, And then I just heard today that they're saying it can spread through flushing the toilet aerosolized feces. And I thought, okay, if that's the case, there seems to be, I don't know. And then when you think about the way they like to mock with everything, the first thing I noticed when this started was before people went nuts and lost their minds and started panic buying, I saw like, I don't remember exactly where it was, but I saw like an article somewhere and it said, people are buying up the toilet paper. And I was like, what? Like I had just gotten toilet paper and there was no problem. And I was like, why? Like that seems weird. And then there was like this toilet paper apocalypse that was going on, and it probably still is going on. I don't know, I haven't been anywhere in a while, but it's weird. Like as soon as they said that, everybody went nuts and started buying up all the toilet paper. And it was like they did it as a response to that. And then the hand sanitizer thing was like being very, very pushed. And I was like, I don't know. It's weird because if that was something that was like spread, was the whole toilet paper thing, it seems like there's something to that, because like I said, they do like to mock people. Everybody knows that they, Pinky, come on, honey. I don't know. Everybody's been like, what's the deal with the toilet paper? And it's almost like a kind of a mocking, like, here you go, because everybody's full of shit, so they need a lot of toilet paper. And maybe there's more to that than than just a joke. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, this is all based on just because of the experience that I had. Like I never even thought or heard anything. There was no coronavirus of any sort. It was just, I had 2 kittens that I just adopted. They got sick, and the doctor said, coronavirus. I did a lot of research. It spreads through feces, and it spreads the more contact that they have. And you can get rid of it and keep it from being passed back and forth by keeping the litter box clean. And it'll just go away. But the more they have, the more likely it is to mutate within them. And if there's some external cause of this, why everybody's experiencing it at once right now, if this is real, I don't know. Just some thoughts. Anyway, that's all, I guess. Okay, bye.